Here in Tampa, Florida, covering the GOP convention with Al Cardenas, the chairman of the American Conservative Union. Good to see you, sir.
Hey, great to be with the NRA. Big fan.
Let's talk first about Florida. You came from Cuba, but you're a Florida guy, went to Florida schools, former chairman of the Republican Party of Florida. Charlie Crist endorsing Barack Obama. What were your first thoughts, former Governor Charlie Crist?
Well, his slide in losing a Republican primary and stepping out of it was his embrace of Barack Obama when he came to Florida to announce the stimulus package. He then changed his stripes. Then he said on Chris Wallace's show that he was a Ronald Reagan Republican, not just a Republican. And listen, as a conservative, I take Ronald Reagan seriously. And now he's supporting Obama. So he's made a 180-degree turn. Very disappointing, political opportunist. I think any respect anyone had hoped to have for him has been dissipated by this move. And I think his political future in Florida is finished. He doesn't, but I think so.
He'll probably have some job in Washington waiting, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Contrast that to Governor Rick Scott. Tell us about the job he's doing here in Florida.
Listen, Rick Scott's done everything he said he would do. I mean, he took the state over under very difficult financial circumstances. The two hardest hit industries in the country are real estate and the hospitality industry, witness Nevada. And yet, in Florida, there are two of our three big items, agriculture being the other one, and so he, state's doing better under his leadership. He's kept us financially stable during difficult times. He's done everything he said he would do. His numbers are not great, but they weren't great when he won to begin with. But he's got to work on the numbers. But he needs to stay where he is philosophically. He's a good man and a good conservative.
You would hear anecdotally about Mitt Romney before the Paul Ryan pick, that Mitt Romney wasn't conservative enough for some people. You would hear that they're going to hold their nose and go to the voting booth to vote for him. Do you think the Paul Ryan choice really helped solidify the conservative base, and now all spectrum of the GOP, conservatives, less conservatives, are really excited about the Romney-Ryan ticket?
Yeah, without a doubt. Listen, in the conservative movement, there was a believe but verify attitude about his candidacy, to be candid with you. And there are two boxes to be checked. One was a VP selection, and with Paul Ryan, he made a lot of us feel very, very good. And the second one was, well, about the party and the platform, product of the party. And I can tell you, I've been at this since 1976 as the most conservative platform the party will ever vote on. So I've checked both of those boxes for me, I believe for most of our board at the American Conservative Union, and we're all ready to support him enthusiastically.
So ticket is set. We're here in Florida, key swing state, of course. What does that ticket have to do to convince seniors that their Medicare won't go away and to win this key state?
Yeah, Democrats were advertised to be celebrating when Paul Ryan was elected, right? A few days later, he came to the Villages in Florida and gave a Medicare speech.
With his mom.
With his mom. And I think they kind of were scratching their heads and say, well, maybe it's not the good news we thought it was. Right. Because we caught the Democrats, as we say, with their pants down. I mean, it's the first time that Americans at large really understood what he'd done with Obamacare, basically taking $716 billion out of Medicare, along with all these extra taxes to pay, to pay for Obamacare and hurting seniors. And so I thought he did a great job at the Villages. It set the tone. They're willing to come to Florida, and we're willing to help them to tell seniors, who incidentally are 36% of our voters in Florida, that the other side's going to hurt them and we're going to help them.
Will you just define for me, as chairman of the American Conservative Union, what is a conservative in 2012?
Well, conservative 2012 is the same conservative I believed in the American exceptionalism and principles of our founders. Less government, more freedom, believe in free enterprise and the capitalist system, traditional social values. I mean, they encapsulate who we are as a people. And our nation has drifted away from some of the basics, and we aim to bring them back on course.
The other day, interviewed incoming Florida Speaker of the House, Will Weatherford. Youngest speaker, he said. The guy looks like Doogie Howser. You just can't believe he's the Speaker of the House. Right. He said to me that the Second Amendment traditions in Florida, he'll put up against any state. I said, even Texas? He said, yes. Talk about the Second Amendment in this state of Florida, and talk about the the need to protect it and your fears about the assault on it in a second Obama administration?
Well, listen, there are assaults on it right now in this state. You know, we were proud to pass a stand your ground law. We think that homeowners are entitled to it. People should be able to defend themselves and feel safe at home. It was a big deal. We passed it in Florida. It's now under attack here in Florida, and it's a big deal for a lot of Democrats, and they're making it a major issue. And so the NRA, frankly, is a big help in fighting this fight. We also made major gains in letting people, bring their weapons to their workplace, keep in their cars. I mean, that's, if you're going to travel in your car and you have a right permitting, why leave your weapon at home if you're properly licensed? So there are a lot of fights we fought successfully, and I agree with Will Weatherford. I think for the NRA participants and believers of Second Amendment rights, we're a showcase state.
Finally, last question. Talk to me about Fast and Furious. Talk to me about your frustration with the story, and talk to me about what needs to happen for the American people to feel that justice has been done for the Brian Terry family.
Well, listen, Fast and Furious is one more depiction of a lawless administration. This president has totally stepped on the separation of powers. Congress adopts laws, executive branch supposed to enforce them, whether on immigration, whether in the Department of Justice, whether it's about marriage. I mean, any law that Congress has passed that he doesn't like, he's publicly said he's not going to enforce. And Fast and Furious is one of them. He basically entered an executive order banning discovery on Fast and Furious when he's not allowed to. He's usurped the law. I think we're going to win that. He's just delayed this process past the election so we don't find the true facts about Fast and Furious, which is frankly a national scandal. In any Republican administration, the press would have made that Department of Justice Attorney General resign. This Eric Holder is the worst Attorney General we've ever had, and he's still in office because of a sympathetic mainstream press.
The worst Attorney General we've ever had?
I believe that's the case, without a doubt.
American Conservative Union Chairman Al Cardenas, honored to talk to you, sir. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Happy to be with you.